Okay, folks, welcome to Red Pill Markets. Today is May the 6th, 2020. We're looking at our stash account. Stash account, we added to Intel, we added to Merck, we added to Alibaba. After we added to them, I ran across a new tool that we can use to help us pick when to get in and when to get out. So on Merck, we may be a little too early. And Alibaba, I know for sure we're too early. I'll go over the chart on Intel, Merck, Alibaba, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The chart that I'm going to go over, it is from the Charting Wealth website. It is a weekly vertical crossover. So basically, this blue line crosses the red line on the way up for the week. If it's on a weekly chart, it's a pretty strong signal. Hopefully you can catch your picks on the daily chart where there's a crossover. Definitely on the weekly chart. So combining the daily chart, the weekly chart, and Gregory Mannarino's TradersChoice.net website, we should be able to jump in and jump out at the right times on our future picks. Let's go over our activity in stash today. Like I said, we added to Intel. I think that was the right time to add. Merck, we may be just a little early. Alibaba, we're definitely too early to be adding to that one. All That Glitters, I'm going to look at that in the next week. We'll probably add to that. Johnson & Johnson, we're too early on Johnson & Johnson. We'll probably be adding to that. All the banks are going to be longer term holds, but we'll see when we need to start adding to those as well. Let's look at our activity. Walmart, we sold just a small loss on Walmart. Starbucks, we gained. And when we sold it, Netflix, we gained when we sold it. So we probably should have stayed in Walmart. We probably should have stayed in Starbucks and Netflix. We'll look at this chart and see. 1 second. Okay, folks. On our price percentage oscillator, Walmart's daily chart is losing strength. Let's look at the weekly. On Walmart's weekly, it's losing a little bit of strength, but what we really should have been in Walmart about beginning of April. Beginning of April, it was probably down to like 100, and we probably would have gained about at least a 30% gain if we were in at that time. Let's look at Netflix. Netflix on the weekly chart. Again, we should have really been in beginning of April. Beginning of April, we would have had about, it was down to what, probably 300, went up to 430. It's actually still going up, so we probably should have just stayed into Netflix. Let's look at the daily chart on Netflix. The daily chart is looking good for Netflix. We probably, if that blue line crosses that red line, we probably want to jump back into Netflix because the week is looking good. The daily is looking good. We might jump into Netflix again next week. Let's look at Microsoft. Microsoft on the weekly is good. Blue line's above the red line. What about the daily? The daily is in the same position. So we probably should have stayed in Microsoft. Let's look at Intel. Intel on the daily, once the blue line crosses over the red line, Intel will be making some money for us. On the weekly, it's almost there. This week, if Intel keeps going up, that blue line will cross the red line. Intel will start taking off. The time to be in it was in April, but we might get a second chance here and in the next week. Let's look at something like Alibaba. Now, when we got into Alibaba, we thought it was going to cross over, but it didn't on a weekly. On the daily, it probably looks even worse. Yeah. So for Alibaba, we got to wait till the blue line gets closer to the crossing over the red line on the daily and on the weekly. So if it keeps going more and more negative, we'll probably add to it for a strong finish to the upside. And then let's look at something like Citi for the banks. On the weekly, the weeklies in a couple, 3 more weeks might cross over. The blue line might cross over the red line. What about the daily? No, the daily might be going down here in a minute. So the banks are going to be a while before we can really make profit in them. We really should have been in the first part. We really should have been in easily early April for the banks. Thanks for watching. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Later.